Airport Board meeting, call to order on Tuesday, July the 2nd at 5 o'clock. Just to remind everybody on your mics, if you need to get them closer, you can pull the cord up through, exactly. Pull that cord up here and you can, we'll give you some more slack, where we can get them a little bit closer to us, where everybody can hear. Very far left of me, to the right of you, I have Hugh McFarland. Next to him, we have Dustin John Newell. To the right of him, we have Greg Moe. Directly to my left, Eddie Lowry. On the very far right, we have the Mayor Pro Tem and City Councilman Julius Buckley. Next to him is our Airport Director, Dickey. And next to me is our awesome Secretary, Alice Reed. Eddie's going to do our invocation for us. And Dickey will do the American flag and I'll do the Texas flag.
It's all right. Dear Lord Jesus, we love you today. We're thankful, Lord, for your presence. God, we ask that you help us make decisions for this airport board. God, give us a sense of wisdom and knowledge and understanding to know justice, judgment, and equity in everything. Lord, we want to give you praise for everything today. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
I face the American flag. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
Number 3 is public comments. Any person with city-related business may speak to the airport board. In compliance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, the airport board may not discuss or vote on any matter raised in public comments unless it is specifically on the agenda. To speak during a board meeting, you must be recognized by the presiding officer. Public comments will be limited to 3 minutes per person. Do we have any public comments? 4 is reports and comments from board members. Let's start down on my far left with you. You got anything new?
Was Reed moving on a fly-in?
Sure.
We talked about, it's on, shows on, a fly-in. We had those gentlemen here that discussed that.
So we had a fly-in a while back, EAA. I don't know if this is a new one coming or something.
No, maybe I just missed.
Oh, yeah, we had one. It's actually pretty successful.
But that was DEA flying. There was talk about a city flying.
Oh,
too.
yes.
That's, I think, what you're
Yes.
referring to, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
City sponsor.
Yep, we will get that on the agenda. I think that, Dickey, you were working on something like that, weren't you?
Yes, so we were putting that in the budget for next year. So it is in the budget to be approved. Once that is approved at the end of September, October, whenever council adopts it, then we can sit down and start planning it.
Yeah, thank you. No other comments?
Dustin, you got anything?
No.
Mr. Gregg? Ed?
No, sir.
Mr. Julius?
We're having the 4th of July celebration tomorrow at the Cleveland ISD football field at 7 o'clock when it starts. So if y'all can make it, it'd be great. Anybody watching? That's all I have.
Dickey, what you got?
Just simple notes as usual. We'll go over June fuel sales for Avgas. We sold 4,600 gallons. Jet A, we sold just over 1,300 gallons. We do have a courtesy phone now in the lobby, so people can use. If the office is closed, and for example, if you don't have any antenna on your phone or your battery's dead, there is a phone now located on the fireplace that you can pick up and use. It will not call international though, so just in the area or Houston, Texas. Yeah. We had one quote so far for the generator plug, but it was pretty high. I do got another company out of Houston who specialize in this and sell everything that goes along with it. To do the 7 hangars, they're gonna be here July 8th to look at it and give us a quote. But they sound really promising, very knowledgeable, and hopefully that'll be a good one. And then we can get them started on that. Also, we just joined the Texas Airport Council, so the city's now a part of that. We have our first meeting on July 30th from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. So I'll be attending that to see what's going on. This will be the first one, so I can see what, know what to expect and what I can get from them. Still waiting for a couple of lighting parts from KSA on the warranty check. Once they do get those all in, then they'll be out there working on the lights. Also, just before I left, I got an email from Gary Loftus, Airport's Compliance Program Manager. He says, I hope this finds you well. I wanted to let you know we are postponing the July land use inspection visit to Cleveland and rescheduling for later this calendar year. I'll let you know when we have an alternate date established. Have a great 4th of July. So, postponed. Yeah, so I told him we had a meeting today and I want to try to get an update so I can get something out to everybody. But I don't know why they postponed it, but he's postponing it and then he'll reach back out to us. That's all I have.
I have one other question.
Yes.
This is probably for you, Dickie. The courtesy car, I was there Sunday evening, and there were some people that were having car issues.
Yeah, the car wouldn't start.
Right. I got them jump started and we got them going, but are there after hours keys available through the courtesy car?
Not yet. So I've got a lock. I just need to get a box that we can put the binder and everything in out there in the lobby, where it's not going to just walk away.
Right.
And then it'll be the Unicom code, to get in and out of it. So,
Right, yeah.
But I do got the lock. It is programmed. It's just now getting a box built or finding someone that already has one built that'll fit a binder and, some keys in it.
A lot of places just use those, just little lock boxes. You screw them down to something.
Okay, I'll see if I can get one on Amazon like that. That'll just where I can lock it. Like I said, just screw it to somewhere in there.
Yeah, that's what a lot of them do. Any other questions from Dickie? Alice, do you have anything more? For me, just reiterate what Julia said, that starts at 7 tomorrow for fireworks. It's the concert. I'm thinking everything starts at 7. The fireworks display actually won't be until just after dark, from what I'm understanding. But it will be pretty quick, right after dark. So for anybody that's going to be up and flying around, I think they recommend 2,000 feet, but it's kind of a recommendation for flying around to watch the fireworks from the sky. I will be up there. I will be one of them for sure. And the band that's playing is, what's the name of that band? It's Ryan Garcia's. Yeah, Tom Porter band. Supposed to be a pretty good band. And that's going to be over at the high school. That's where all this will take place. For anybody that wants to attend. We are getting caught up on our airport maintenance, I believe. I think Roger and Dickie are getting together with it. There's been some concerns over the grass in front of the hangars, in front of our doors and stuff. Dickie is, I know he didn't mention that, but we've talked about that. He's kind of got a game plan for all of that. Also, so anything else on reports, comments from board members? Everybody good? Number 5, approving the minutes from June 6th. Everybody have a chance to look at the minutes? Any motions?
I move the minutes be approved. Second.
I have a motion by Greg to approve the minutes from June 6th. I have a second by Eddie Lowry. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Number 6, city proposed aviation ordinance. Dickie.
I made all the correct. There we go. I made all the corrected changes and recommendations and put it in here, and then this is the new updated copy. So it's just for y'all's final approval and recommendation for council.
Any questions on, our city's proposed aviation ordinance?
Does that have to go to, Martin to be approved?
I think it's already been
The
approved.
lawyer's already seen it once, but when they submit the council packet, it'll go to the lawyer again for final review.
So if we approve it from here, it still goes to city council in the packet, and city council will approve it, and, or it'll actually go to Tommy, I think, prior to city council, correct? Tommy will approve it, and then it'll go to city council for final approval. We got some people who haven't had a chance to look at it quite yet, so.
John, good question.
Yes, sir.
I guess for Dickie, the master fee schedule is that's attached to the ordinance is the current rates, right?
That's actually gonna be, yeah, right now we're just doing the ordinance.
Well, you're talking about the in here.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, that's not part of the ordinance. Okay, yeah, excuse me, all right. Everything was together.
The ordinance
thinking it was
references it?
appendix.
The ordinance references that.
Okay, gotcha, sorry, I jumped ahead, I was
No,
thinking,
it's okay.
I thought it was an appendix to the,
There's a separation in there between the ordinance, and then the next thing you'll go to is the hangar lease agreement. Then
yeah,
after that.
sorry about that.
No, it's quite all right, totally good. All the ordinance is gonna do is just reference,
Because
and it doesn't quote numbers or anything in the ordinance.
now the old ordinance had the entire list in there, so anytime prices changed, you had to go in there and update the ordinance recently, the whole thing. So now, just by referring to the master fee schedule, it simplifies.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So what's our actual airport policy about this gate and having the gate open during hours? Our safe harbor security policy. The gate's wide open during the day. Is it supposed to be closed? Is it supposed to be
I
open
think as long
once?
as somebody's there manning, then it's open. But if, for example, like we're not there, then we close it.
Okay. Well, I'm just, the incident that happened the other day, basically an unmarked vehicle that's there, no one knows who it is, walking through people's hangar, or my hangar in particular. And I go and approach them and got verbally abused by them. Should we keep that hangar or the gate closed at all times? So we know that whoever's at that airport?
I don't think we can.
Public
It's
health,
property.
Public
I
living.
was gonna say, we turned it on.
Is there a check-in policy with the terminal airport manager by a contractor
not.
prior to going into?
I don't think there's ever been one there.
Okay.
Do other contractors check in with you before they come out to the work?
Yes.
Well, because I say that because the vehicles that were there were unmarked. It doesn't say who's working. So,
I mean-
that's, you look at surpluses, activities, whatever it is, okay, under powers and duties. I mean, we're responsible for TSA for security at the airport. So if we see something that's not right, we're supposed to say something. And when I said something, I get verbally abused. See my point?
Greg, did you have, any associated?
Well, I want to make sure, I heard two different things, and it could be probably with me, but, do they check in with you or not? When the contractor comes in,
Yes,
they
I
call
call
on
them.
the airport, they check in with you before they start their work.
Yes,
Okay.
either via that or phone. Like, they'll come in, I'll say, yep, go ahead and go over to the fuel tank and get to work.
Wouldn't it be appropriate if a contractor or workers or FAA inspectors to be escorted by you or someone from the airport city to go to the hangar, to enter a hangar?
Let me, just real quick,
Well, I check with every hangar owner, and I tell them that, hey, they're coming in for maintenance. And they're like, yeah, go ahead and open the door and put them in there, or let them in there. I'm like, okay, they're going in there and work.
so, but real quick on this specific situation, I've obviously dealt with this with Dustin, with Dicky, also with the contractor. And definitely could be handled better, in my opinion. Dicky and I talked about this already. I think it's simply put, Dustin was the unfortunate one because his hangar was right there open. They were working in Bill's hangar, and evidently one of the guys was hollering at the other guy. That guy misplaced where he was hollering from and thought he was hollering from inside Dustin's hangar. And so that's where he thought the other employee was, and he went in Dustin's hangar, thinking the other employee was in there. Granted, when obviously, I think anybody would have done the same thing Dustin did. They would have, obviously approached on who the heck's in my hangar. And it went south very quickly. I do think that Hugh's correct. I mean, yes, if we escorted somebody, but I believe though that they were actually escorted over there, told what they were doing, and shown what they were doing, and then the other employees of that contractor didn't communicate real well to each other. Whatever, and probably got a little bit offended when they were asked what they were doing in that hangar, when they technically really weren't supposed to be in that hangar. So to rectify the situation, that's the question is, I guess, do we need to do something different with escorting them, communicate a little better? I think this is, as far as I don't know, everybody out there's been out there many more years than I have, but
Yes, I think.
I don't think this has happened
I
before.
think it should be up to the tenant, because there's other contractors out there that go in and out of hangars all day unescorted. So are they all gonna be escorted too as well?
Well, I look at it as working for the government ourselves. Nobody comes on our facilities without an escort, period. It's a security issue, it's a safety issue, and then, I look at it as a tenant. Okay, so I say go in my hangar. What if something winds up missing? Some contractor goes there, plane rips out $50,000 worth of avionics. Off they go. Wasn't me. I think it look at it as the city's side of liability. Just let the contractor unescorted go in your hangar. I guess you could leave it up to the tenant, but.
Well, if I'm not, in this situation, I think they're actually escorted, but escorted to Bill's hangar, and then the other employee showed up later, correct?
I think so.
But I do see their point, I see both sides of it, and I do see Dustin's side. If somebody, I mean, I know that the normal public doesn't understand what something simple like a 4:30 or 5:30 costs these days used, but that's a few $1,000s, several thousand. And even if we escort them and leave them, and something comes up missing, who's,
Sometimes, there's other contractors out there that have keys to everybody's hangars. I don't think that's right or safe.
No, that's, would certainly be news to me.
me too. Yeah, I don't know.
There's contractors that have keys to every hangar.
I mean, Julius's company has done a lot of work out there, and I kind of doubt he has keys to any hangar out there. And they've done a whole lot of work, so I guess I would like to know what contractors are out
Lone
there.
Star Aviation, they're not on the airfield, and they have keys and they're a contractor, and they go in and out of hangars all day, unescorted.
Well, that's between this Lone Star and the owner of the aircraft.
Yeah, and the tenant, and that's the same way that we're doing it.
Yes, that's fine. I gave it to him.
Yeah, he's got a key, yeah, he's got a key to your hangar too.
He doesn't have to be my hangar. I mean,
Yeah, no, I'm not saying everybody's going.
That's an individual
That's a
decision,
good-
right?
Correct, and then that's the way this.
Well, if he's working on your airplane, though.
right, that would be something that he would have agreement with.
But I don't think Johnny Carte Launch has keys to every single hangar out there, does he, or does he not?
Quite a few.
But I think those were probably, those are arrangements between individual tenants.
Yeah, okay.
That's all his customers.
Right. Yeah, and if I ever became uncomfortable with that, I could go to Johnny and say, hey, you know. And then, when that, he needs to get to my airplane, then I'll come out and say,
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same liability, not saying that they will, but if they go in there and take, equipment off one plane and then, it disappears and then now that's on us too as well.
No, because the city had nothing to do with that. No, that's not gonna be on the city. Wait, hang on, guys. Hang on 1 second. Hang on just a second. Let's do apples to apples. If Johnny comes out there and goes in my hangar, I'm the one giving you permission to go in my hangar, not the city. The city didn't give him any permission, I give you permission.
Right.
If something disappears out of my hangar, I deal with Johnny on it, but I don't deal with the city on it. If Henderson Electric or Roger, his guys come out and go in my hangar and something disappears, I'll be going to Roger, not Johnny. So I just want to keep it, let's make sure we're clear on what we're talking about. If we're given an AMP or an IA permission to come in my hangar, that's nothing to do with the city.
Yeah, and so I think the apples and apples is a great thing to do. I'll give you another non-Johnny example. Okay, I know, shortly after I got into the hangar that I'm in now, I hired Chris Bayham to hang the hang the halogen light from the ceiling because it was real tall, I couldn't do it myself, all right? So he had access to a scaffold. I hired him, asked Clay, I told Clay, hey, by the way, Chris is gonna be coming into my hangar. So I made an arrangement. I didn't expect an escort. That was an arrangement I made to have that done, all right? What Dustin's talking about isn't a prior arrangement. It's not prior knowledge.
It wasn't Bill.
Mhm. It was with Bill, right? But
And then this is just an accident like Johnny
Can we
Flynn.
use your microphone and jump on it?
okay.
I mean,
Okay, so I follow what you're saying.
Well, I have a question. How many people come on that airport, just John Q. citizen during the day, looking around?
there's no traffic.
Should we have some type of a sign that they should all check in at the terminal?
I mean, we can. There's not saying we
Anybody that
can't.
comes on that airport should do that.
Well, then here's another issue with it the other day, when they close and leave, right? Door gets shut. Planes are still flying. The other day, there was 4 cars parked in the front, blocking the road. where I couldn't even get a trailer with a truck. You know, I don't think there's any signs there that says no parking there either, but I know what they were doing. They had a kid soloing from Conroe over there. It was his entire family. You know, once they said who they was, I let them in to show them where they could go park, but, you know, but they're blocking traffic, no one else wants to help them. I
Where
mean,
were they parked at?
right at the front gate. I mean, right on,
I'm with you. I
where
read
the
that
gate
out.
closed,
No,
because they didn't know how to get in.
No, I-
And there was
I-
2 or 3 of them on the highway, or 2 of them on the highway. You know, makes a great
Well, and
spot
there
for
used to be.
our observation area we keep talking about.
Well, it used to be a sign there with a phone number on it, if you remember.
I think it's good, I think it's still there.
You can't read it.
Well, you can't read it.
Yeah, you can't read it, that's my whole point here, you can't read it, so, you know, we probably should get that sign redone, to where you can read it, to where,
Yes, because I got a phone call the other morning also as another,
I looked in it.
well, yeah. Well, it must have been another phone call because I actually helped him out too. There's another guy's flying with it for us, so.
I think that if we get that sign obviously redone with a phone number on it that's accessible, is gonna solve that issue, I would hope, to an extent. And then maybe we ought to put a sign up there also that says all contractors or all guests, maybe. Yeah, guests/contractors, please check in at the FBO on arrival. Fair enough. All good. And solve both of those issues. Okay, on the ordinance, everybody good with the ordinance? If they are, do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion by Lowry to approve the new city's proposed aviation ordinance. I have a second by Julius Buckley. All in favor? Dustin, read four of them.
Let's read 1 section.
Oh, go, yeah.
Aye.
Motion carried unanimously.
Thanks for the changes, Jake, I appreciate that.
Okay, on your next one after that,
Well, like having a lot of people, you know, like.
Looking at it?
Yeah.
yep, I agree. After that, the next set in your agenda is, the city's new airport lease. And then after that will be the revised airport master fee. But, so the lease is gonna be, is that technically the lease is separate from that master fee? Does everyone have time to look at the lease yet, or?
That was Thursday.
Emilio, did you come up here to give us some great news on hangars or anything, or no? Roger over there started laughing.
Just wanted to see what it was all about.
If y'all don't know, we have Emilio Rivero here. He is the new city's EDC director and community service development director. And he handles the EDC and developmental services.
So, quick question, with Emilio, Heidi, and you here, is that like a joint meeting?
No, it's not a quorum, so we're good, but we, inquiring minds are wanting to know what's going on at the airport, obviously.
Is there any significance to the,
Is your mic on here? Ben?
yes, it is.
Will you tap on it for me? Okay.
On page 4D, it says leasing may store up to a maximum of 24 one-quart containers of aviation oil inside a hangar. But
Do you need more, or, I mean, we can up it.
I just don't understand why that's even there.
I mean, well, we don't want pallets of oil stored in a hot hangar. Keep turning it on, son. Keep turning it on.
Well, just remember the city secretary, when she does these minutes, she goes back over the videotape. And if she can't hear it, I don't want phone calls from Alice over it.
I mean, it's only 2 cases, that's all.
Not a lot, 2 cases is not a lot. 2 cases is 12 courts in the aviation world.
You wanted a city,
That's not enough to, well,
I mean, if you had a twin-engine aircraft, you're barely enough to.
that's not enough.
okay, so how about we?
I just found it odd that that's there. But
Okay, no, that's fine.
Fire hazard, is that?
I mean,
That's the reason why, but it can be increased if we want.
well, this is TxDOT's recommendation, and then the number is we came up with that number, but if we need to raise or lower it, we can.
I mean, I would raise it to at least 4. but-
Or I can put, let's say, lessee may store 1-quart containers of aviation oil inside the hangar for use in his aircraft so long, like that. I'll just get rid of, store up to a maximum of 24.
Okay, I mean, that's,
Is that, okay.
So that again,
So the way it'll read, it'll say lessee may store 1-quart containers of aviation oil inside the hangar for use in his aircraft.
When he's gonna do away with just the maximum of the 20.
gotcha, okay,
And so
Is everybody good
anything,
with that?
yes.
Okay, so let's make that.
okay. And then what we can do also on this one, just so we don't have to come back to it, we can vote.
Oh, no, I'm
To-
I'll
to
take
go,
care of that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So then when we go to restricted use,
Mhm.
as soon as I check mark flight instruction, we go back to the fee schedules and now it's commercial rate.
Yes.
So you,
Well, hang on a second. I don't, we can't do it because here we go. I'll just use Greg as an example, unfortunately, Greg. But you have to be, you still have, somewhere or another, you still gotta be making money from it. I mean, Greg teaching his granddaughter, I don't think that's gonna qualify as a commercial. Does that make sense to everyone?
well, it just says a commercial such as pilot instruction. I mean, so one, or keep using it for an example, somebody wants to come and get a complex endorsement. You might do 10 of them a year, maybe 2. Gets a complex endorsement, that's a commercial activity. Signing it off as a commercial.
So the way we're looking at it is when you fill out your lease to move into a hangar, if you check any of these things right here saying that yes, there will be commercial activity, then yes, you will get a commercial rate. If
So
you
what he's
check,
referring to is section 5, under restricted use 1 and 2.
if
So
you
you're
check
gonna
there
just-
is no commercial activity use, then you will not have a commercial rate.
So we're just gonna completely kill everybody that's out there right now.
No, that's what he's saying. If you just check number 1, there is no commercial activity use, then you're not gonna have it.
But we all know who all does, who gives instruction and does stuff out there. So if someone says something, or we're gonna
Well,
talk.
I mean, yes, if somebody come to us and said, hey, this guy's teaching out there, then we have to do investigation or whatever to figure out, and then we find out that he is, then they will be found in violation of the lease. They'll have 30 days to correct it, and then if it's still not corrected, then you'll be in it. in non-compliance of the lease.
Is there a possibility of just taking off pilot instruction? Because pilot instruction, I mean, using this as an example, someone, I want to do a biennial flight review, and I hire Greg or Justin to do a biennial flight review for me. That's partly a commercial lot. To compare that to someone that's running a charter business out of there, or doing,
A
aircraft.
full flight
maintenance.
school or something,
I mean,
yeah.
this is a unique, the aviation aspect of what we're doing is somewhat unique to a typical commercial, someone that has a garage, or a repair facility or something that they're renting aircraft, that they're doing something, but pilot instruction is, I think possibly we can maybe get that removed from the list of commercial activities. And it would maybe-
Or just change it to pilot instruction. Well, something that, where that person is, I hate to say making a living off of it, but I think that would be the difference if they're
Now, flight school and someone that's going out and doing a VFR, I think are two different things.
correct.
A flight school there, that's a commercial activity.
But even the flight schools themselves, mom and pop's places, I'm gonna do the math right here. The new hangar he's moved into, that goes up $230 a month extra.
The one you just moved into?
Yeah. So it's now, instead of $230 a month, it's $430 a month. It makes no financial sense to keep it open. It's not enough money. I'll shut it down. I already had to let go of half my business because of the commercial rates and my tail wheel. I sold my tail wheel. I can't afford it. So that whole aspect of my business is gone. If you didn't know that. Because this is what we're talking about. The square footage on my big hangar, 2,430 square foot. I mean, that ups at $850, that's another $200 a month. And that tail wheel didn't make that kind of money. And I had people come from around the world to do tail wheel with me. But see, my point was, it doesn't, you're killing the small guys. One, we can't use the airport to begin with. We have to take our students to Liberty. We have to take them to Livingston because we get bombarded by the students over at Conroe. So I have to take my students somewhere else. You see my point with, you're killing the small guy with rates like that. Unless we're going to adjust the rates down to where it's a little bit more economical. I understand maybe 10% anymore.
That's an option. Well,
So,
we'll leave that when we get to the master fee schedule. But
so in short, this is just my opinion, not that it really matters that much, but I do agree on the verbiage of pilot instruction. I think that's too open. I don't agree that if you have an individual that rents a hangar out there and they're doing 8 flights a day off their airplane in that hangar and teaching out of it, that's a commercial business, any which way you look at it. If it's something like y'all are talking about, hey Greg, I need a VFR, that kind of thing. I agree with you. It's not. I don't think that's.
Kind of like what you talked about last month.
It's the same thing we talked about.
If you're renting a hangar and operating a business out of that hangar, that's one thing. If you're just doing it on the side, kind of, you do 1 or 2 a year because you're not necessarily using your hangar, you're not using your plane, you're just, you've got the certification that you can do it. A couple of people come to you a year.
And Greg's not.
That's one thing.
Yeah,
That's
Greg-
different. That's the thing. If you're doing your grandkids,
Yeah.
that's not operating a business. But if you're renting the hangar to operate a business, that's a commercial endeavor.
Right. And then I'll even take it a step further, in my opinion. If I call Dustin, since he's on the top people, that's what he feels like. I don't blame him.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame him, but just give us
The
the
profit
example.
margins for this.
If I called
kind of stuff.
Dustin and said, hey, whatever, come give me a VFR. We're not using his plane. We're not going to use anything he has. He's going to be in one of my planes, obviously, in the VFR. If we, get in the plane, otherwise we sit down in the FBO and do whatever we're going to do.
Yeah, You're not leasing your hangar
to make it.
for your business.
And that's kind of where I'm going with this, it's where I went with it last month, is I think I know it's a fine line, but, if we need to reword this, then let's figure it out right quick and reword it, but, just pilot instruction is not gonna qualify for a commercial team. Again, if you go back to a previous page, I mean, I would hope that people are gonna be honest about what they're doing. I don't think Greg is gonna, under section 5, and I keep using him as an example, just because he's sitting here, and I know Greg, and he's currently giving his granddaughter some lessons for it, so, but on section 5, here you go, you're gonna be, Greg wouldn't check number 2, he would check number 1. You follow me? So that is gonna leave nothing to check on page 5 of it. Everybody follow me there? Does that make sense? You wouldn't do it? Everybody agree with that statement? So, do we really need to even reword it? If you are not doing commercial activity of it, check number 1. I mean, it's that simple.
Well, I think pilot instruction should be on that list. I don't think that's, you're talking about apples to apples. Pilot instruction is different than running a flight school.
And wait, can you be commercial and do pilot instruction and non-commercial and do pilot instruction? You can, correct? You can do both.
You can do both.
Exactly. So you're answering number 1 or number 2 before you ever get there. If I was Greg and I was filling this out and I was Greg, it would be number 1. He's not using his hangar as a commercial activity to make a living out of it. Yes, he does a little bit of instruction for sure. He'll help people out, do whatever he does up there, but that's not, he's going to be checking number 1 in my opinion.
You keep saying making a living now.
Well, not making a living, you're not making a living anyways, but yeah, you know what I mean. For profit, truly doing it,
But when you start,
I mean, United Flight, they're a commercial business. And all they do is provide pilot instruction.
They also have 27 airplanes.
Absolutely. But that's what I'm saying, the difference between number 1 and number 2 is, there you go. Commercial and non-commercial.
So, where I am personally, listening to all of this conversation, and I understand that out there in the system at other airports, you probably have private tenant rates and commercial tenant rates. So it's probably not an uncommon thing. However, I think there are some larger unintended consequences as we seek to normalize what we're doing and line up with the practices of these other airports. Like I said, there may be unintended consequences. At Cleveland Airport, to my knowledge, until Dustin just reopened his operation there hadn't been a flight school there in 10
Several years.
Yeah, the 10 plus years or so that I've been there, maybe before that. I'm sure there's been some, I think Cassie had one briefly, but she went on. And so for the local community to go to their nearby municipal airport and get flight instruction, it really doesn't exist in Cleveland, with the exception of what Dustin's trying to start up. Conroe's got, 5 or 6 schools over there. Hooks has got that many or more. So what promotion does the city want to do to promote a business for the benefit of having services for the local community? And if a fee structure is set up that discourages businesses from opening because the profit margin at this point is too tight, then the business may opt not to open, which provides a disservice to the local community.
But we're talking 2 different situations here. Right now, this is just the lease.
Well, they're all connected though, John. One
Okay.
is connected to the other.
I understand that, but would we be discussing this if it wasn't any more money?
Well,
Being honest, the call spade is spade. We wouldn't even be
I
discussing this.
mean, the whole
If
concept.
the money was the
You
same
can't
price.
separate the two.
Okay.
Otherwise, why are you doing it?
Okay.
Why is it in the lease if there's not an intention to attach a commercial?
Okay, so then let's ask the question real simple. If the price didn't go up and didn't affect the price of the hangar, is it
Okay,
okay?
well, first of all, let me say this, John. I don't know where I am on this, okay? So that's what I said at the very beginning. I'm just, there's a logic to it that I understand, all right? Particularly because it's around, but also, if you're trying to bring in, the state of Texas encourages other businesses to locate into the state. They provide incentives to do that, all right? Is the city of Cleveland interested in having businesses at the airport provide a service to the community?
Oh,
It's a
100%.
rhetorical question, all right? But I mean, that's the case. For example, there's a lot of conversation between the high school here in Cleveland with their aviation school and building aircraft and things that they're doing to get their students trying to get. And so it's natural for them to go right down the road 5 miles to Cleveland Airport instead of going to Sherman.
Chenault, they've been taking all their students to
Yeah.
Chenault. 48 of their last kids passed the private pilot RIT test and want to come and take lessons.
So there's, I mean, that's a great community thing that it'd be good to encourage. So I guess what I'm sensing I don't want to get in a hurry with this. Let's take the time it takes to look at all of the consequences of decisions. Is there something pushing us or pushing the city of the airport to establish a new fee structure for the hangars? Or is there, okay.
Yeah,
that's
we're
where I'm-
already almost 8 months past due.
Okay.
So,
So what, the FAA says you have to establish a commercial fee structure fees?
Yes, to establish a fair on-airport rate, off-airport rate, in order to get a through-the-fence agreement established with businesses that are not on the airport, but still access the airport.
and there's been other situations in our airport where people are running businesses.
Let me ask this. How many planes, and about how many flights do you do a week when you're doing your flight school? I'm just curious on it.
Depends on the weather and everything else. Sometimes it flies 3 times a day, once a day. It's really random. Weather can knock you out for a month.
No, I understand that. I'm just curious, usually kind of day to day.
I mean, that plane makes roughly $12 every plane.
That's where
$12.
see where, how many
And I
flights.
take all that money and it goes right back to the kids.
So if we have one flight school out there, we're trying to get flights to come to Cleveland. I say we take the pilot instruction off of the commercial rate so we can hopefully build some type of, I can't even think of the word, get people to actually come and try to fly out there as opposed to going down the road. If we only have one flight school in Cleveland right now. I say we take it out for now and see how it goes. And if we get more that want to start coming in and starts going more, then we need to put it back in the lease.
Well, but if we're only taking that out, I mean, Greg will have to correct me or expand a little bit. Greg, are you okay with that, or do you have a problem with any and all commercial activity out there?
I don't have a problem with any of it. I mean, the solution, as George just said, would probably solve that part of it in the short term. I guess the point I didn't make very well is what we do is going to have some consequences on people starting businesses. They're going to have to make a profit to do it. So that should be factored into the calculus of what we do. So yes, on one hand, you're right. This is talking about different types of commercial operations. The fee structure is completely different, but this one drives the fee structure. That's the reason it's in there, is so that we can get to the fee structure. Because if it's not in there, then we can't go to someone who didn't report their commercial activity and say you broke the lease, because you are conducting business on the side. That's a failure to comply with your lease.
One thing on here that I think is not on here that seems obvious would be the aircraft rental versus pilot instruction. Because if you're
Renting an aircraft?
renting aircraft, that hangar.
Just change the pilot instruction to aircraft run?
But here, yeah, I didn't hear what this.
You're running aircraft.
But you got to rent the airplanes, didn't instruct. I mean, it's just,
Well, not necessarily.
well, I mean, but
Not what you're doing.
but what outside individuals come to. Well, yes, but when a kid from Cleveland High School wants to come and get lessons, where's, he ain't gonna go buy an airplane, he's gotta rent the airplane. I mean, we donate as much time as we possibly can. Sometimes we don't even charge them instruction fees. We take that, put it away. Hey, let me help you. I mean, the old flying club that was out there, that's what it was. That was Johnny's ambition. When we had the old flying club, was that any kid that worked at McDonald's, whatever, they could come and afford 1 hour of flight instruction per month.
So then, where are we, so again, it has consequences, like Greg says. So if we take pilot instruction off, don't do rental airplanes, somebody moves out there and has 4 airplanes and they're renting out, they shouldn't have to pay commercial rates either, I guess? Is that where we're going with it?
But let them come out. I I support them. Come on.
Okay, so an A&P out there, you know.
I know, we keep giving this A&P thing. We got one bad apple that we keep talking about.
No, we're not talking about anybody's bad apple. Let's get where we're supposed to be getting here. So
But no, we're
what I'm
talking
asking
about,
is real simple.
you keep
If
saying
they're-
A&P. We know what we're talking about.
No,
Just
we don't.
just leave, it's just status quo. I mean,
Okay,
we're
so
punishing an entire airport over one issue.
Okay, so back to my original question. So you're saying no commercial rate for anybody on anything?
I mean,
That's what you're saying.
why not like
Can't keep it
10%?
status quo.
Yeah, that doesn't keep status quo.
Can't keep status quo. We've been told we cannot keep it the same way. We've got to have a fair way of charging commercial rates.
Okay, so this 35 cents we have on the other one, we don't keep saying hangar commercial rate. That's for just the hangars at the airport, correct?
Well, yeah, that's
But we're
all.
saying through the fence transactions.
No, that has nothing to do with that. That's just 35 cents is for the,
We've got to establish a fair rate for commercial on our airport ground. That's the next step that we have to do. Then we can worry about the through the fence. We can't even worry about through the fence until we have this done.
I'll tell you
That's
my-
a grant assurance issue.
Right.
and I'll tell you my concern here.
I mean, and
As
yes,
Julian
we're
said-
doing it by square footage right now. That's the fair mechanism.
And I'll tell you my
Approved by
concern is what Julius Nettie said here, is if we don't get something worked out here, the city council is gonna get it worked out for us. And I'm afraid we're not gonna probably like their answer. So,
And it is a recommendation. Council can still change it.
correct, but if we have the mayor pro tem and city councilman on our board and is agreeing with our recommendation, I mean, it's a pretty good sign. But if we do nothing and it goes to the next city council meeting, that's my concern. And I'm just being straight up with you, that's my concern with it. If we need to look at the rate a little bit, if we need to, I don't know, I mean, they'll just.
I mean, that's kind of the idea of the two steps too, is the fact that your person that's coming out just to rent a hangar for their plane should have a lower rate than a commercial rate that's making money off the hangar. And somebody, because that's what your main priority is to have somebody, I mean, to have a place where you can house your plane, for your private plane, to have a place to put it, fly, you know. And somebody that has that, they're using it for their personal plane, should not have to pay as high a rate as somebody that's making a business. They're operating a business. When you go to lease a building for commercial use, you're paying a whole lot more square footage than you're going to be paying for a house that you're going to be renting, or an apartment that you're going to be renting. Those rates are a whole lot higher for commercial, because you're making money off of it. It's a business aspect of it. I know it's hard to separate. You got planes there. You have people that you know that are operating businesses out of there. But I mean, that's what they're trying to do right here. You got to set and establish these rates.
It might be as simple as establishing, not that we have to do it or whatever, but establishing a percentage of use. So if it is, pick your percentage. 60% is business operations, 40% is private. If anything, greater than 60% is gonna, 60% or more is gonna be.
And who
I don't know.
comes up with that
Who's
percentage?
gonna keep up with that
Yeah,
percentage?
who's
Well, you provide the, it's law.
You'll provide your your financials every year so we can make sure that you're, I want to do an audit on every hanger out there to make sure, I don't know, I want to do the business of auditing every hanger out there. to
I
make
didn't say it was a
sure
good
that-
one. Still an idea.
It's not,
What if we had an introductory commercial rate?
Well, let's get past the lease, because I think that we can figure out the rate. I'm not so much concerned about the rate. The lease, we can figure out, I think we can figure out, we can do it all at the same time, I don't care, no, we do it.
Why don't we remove like the USS with private instruction and the aircraft rental, and then just go from what you got the other stuff? Is that really considered commercial?
So do we have any ones like doing pilot rental? Just curious.
Justin?
Well, I mean,
That's just, yeah, I mean, you know my opinion, you know my
Well,
opinion,
no,
you
he
know.
rents planes too. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you're right.
no, he rents them too. That's, but I,
So I'm going to use myself just as an illustration example. I'm a CFI. I've got a complex aircraft. I don't use it really for primary instruction. It's really for my private use. But there's no other airplane on the airport for pilots that want to get a flight certification, retractable gear, constant speed throttle. There's no other place really for them to get that. So I will use my airplane on an ad hoc basis. Somebody comes up to me and says, hey Greg, I need my complex training, my rate. We'll fly for, I'll do the ground school piece. We'll go and fly for 2 or 3 hours depending on, the student. And, it's not charity. So they're reimbursing me for the cost of the airplane. So there's a commercial activity. You could easily fit that definition. I did once in 2023 and I've done once in 2024. So it's.
I don't think that's what they're
It's
considering
add-on,
commercial.
but now, so here's my ethical question is, when I check off, I do use my airplane for pilot instruction, that would be seen as a commercial activity. So now I'm in the position of, to do those 1 or 2 students a year, because there's no other airplane available out there at the airport. to
So let's put a
these
number
folks.
on it. Let's put a
Well,
clause on it.
I'm just saying, that's the kind of money.
Yeah.
So then my choice would be, I'm not doing that.
So then let's do a clause and put a number on it, that you get X amount of them a year. We need to do
I don't-
that. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know the solution, I'm just saying
how
that's
you
what
gonna
it
keep
is.
up with that? I'll say, yeah, I'm only doing it 4 times this year, and I do it 100 times.
Yeah.
Right.
We're back to the.
I was the same thing with
again.
spin training and some, in my old airplanes too. I might do like 3 or 4 a year. But it's providing the service for it. Or how about you throw in there, it's like you own more than 3 airplanes for aircraft. I don't know.
But
I mean, I'm not against paying a little extra, but am I gonna get a good deal on gas? Get 50 cents off a gallon of gas?
the other question is sightseeing. I mean,
That's another one too, yeah.
I mean, it's like Brooks Airport does a lot of that. The HSI over there does daily flights at $4.50 a flight. Fly people around for 2 hours at night just to look at the lights downtown.
no, that's fair.
We don't do that in Cleveland now.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's offering that.
Not
service
yet.
That's why
Not yet.
I was curious on,
Not yet.
I was like, what if I go and ask somebody, hey, can I go on a
Yeah.
flight? Okay, that's where I wanted to see where we're drawing the line on.
Yeah, I don't know where that line should be drawn. I mean, because, so here's the other part of this, is that we want to create an ordinance, I would think, and a lease agreement where you get compliance, right? You don't want people going, all right, I will sign off on this, but I'm not doing that, so I'm just gonna, I'll give forgiveness instead of permission, kind of a thing. I don't think we should set it up that way. Whatever that looks like, we should probably come up with a good solution. I wish I had a solution to offer at this point, though. But
I feel like the honor system, that's what we're asking people to do, number one, and number two, delegate it. Commercial or not commercial.
I
But
believe that too, but
You what?
you know how people are, I mean,
You
not
delegate.
everybody's gonna be 100% off.
well, of course not.
There's no,
Yeah, but I agree with Greg, to be totally honest and ethical. You know, a question of your morals here. Is he going to say there is no commercial activity when he did one time, once a year? That's still a commercial activity.
So
He
we
would
want
have
to
to
say-
That's
check
not a
too.
business. I mean, commercial I refer to as like a business.
Isn't there a legal
Doing it once a
term?
year is not a business.
No, that's not a business, that doesn't delegate.
That's like
I'm a law
commercial.
business, that doesn't
I
delegate.
mean,
Isn't there a term that's wholly, WHOL, it's like your intent is wholly commercial versus, there's a legal term that defines kind of what we're discussing. I mean, what's the intent of this hangar rental? Is it, private hangar, or is it, you're going out there and hanging up my shingle, I'm gonna be Joe's, aircraft rental, or, so-and-so's aircraft repair shop? There's a, if your whole intent is to be a commercial operation, that's a commercial operation. But if it's Greg going to do 1 or 2 biannuals, that's not that's not an intent to be a
I think
commercial operation.
everybody's in agreement with what y'all are saying. And I don't think there's anybody here that's not in agreement with that. If you're gonna do a few BFRs a year, that's not a commercial tenant. I think everybody, including Scott, Vicky, Julius, I think everybody here is in agreement.
So I bring that up just that maybe we can word it the way that the city law attorney can differentiate and see the clear intent of what we're trying to approve or disapprove.
I mean, but that is, regardless of CBFR, if I accept money for doing it, I'm using my commercial license as a commercial activity. That is part of the farms. Period. And just like Greg said, even if I do one, I'm
Well, but if
using
the
it.
city's saying that doesn't count, then it doesn't matter. I mean,
Yeah, that would not be an FAR definition.
Right,
It would be a
right.
city of
Of
Cleveland.
course,
definition.
yeah, absolutely.
And I realize you gotta come up with a standard, so whatever that is, so that you can demonstrate, hey, we are objectively applying this to the,
There's no question that what Johnny Winston's doing out there at Lone Star Aviation, that's a commercial business.
Okay, but if somebody's doing that same business in a hangar, is that a commercial business?
Yes. If I was there,
So the,
other people's airplanes,
and don't get me wrong, I do not want anybody to lose business or anything like that. But the only other option that the FAA gave us, if we don't want to establish a commercial rate, is to block his access.
I'm telling you, there's a lot of
Block his
other
access,
consequences here, but this is gonna get resolved.
and that is something we do not want to do that at all.
any block, any commercial activity.
Yes,
No,
well,
his property. Just because his property butts up to the airport property, doesn't guarantee him airfield access.
Oh, okay, so you're doing Johnny's.
Correct. That's the only other option, if we don't want to establish a commercial rate. And that we do not want, unless that's what y'all want.
Well, no, nobody wants that.
Yeah, I mean, nobody wants that. That's
Everybody
why-
needs
that's why
that, everybody needs that business there.
And that's why we need to establish this fair rate.
So if we just take pilot instruction off, I mean, does that solve everything else on here? I mean, it seems like a complete commercial business.
Because it would be, just like you stated a while ago, this is what the city of Cleveland is saying we are considering commercial. But by removing that off of there, what's left on there is what we're
for the
establishing.
purposes of the lease and commercial hangar rental. This is our definition of commercial.
Well, I mean, here's
The
a,
city has the option to do that.
Scott,
like I said, I looked up, what's the difference between commercial and non-commercial? And basically, commercial intends to aim to earn profit, while non-commercial entities focus on benefiting the public community without profit as a primary motive. So if your intent is to make money, you're commercial. If your nonprofit not making any money off of it, then that's nonprofit, non-commercial.
So it depends on your intent.
Your intent. If you're planning on making money, then that would be commercial. If you're not making money, you know, Greg is not making money off, that's not his intent to make money. He's out there to help somebody, nonprofit. He basically trying to cover his costs and his
Cover
expenses.
costs.
That's a nonprofit, that's a nonprofit business or operation. If you're making money off of the hangar, and that's your intent is to make some money, then you're a commercial business. If you're not, your intent is to not make money, is to break even, just cover your costs, then you're a
So if you show a loss every single year, you're not in business.
If that's your intent, is to not make money.
Well, no, that's,
Your intent is to not make money.
That's a good tax people.
yeah, I do too.
I mean, you can use that as a definition, it's,
No, it's, yeah, but if your
commercial is
intent is to
intent to
make
make
money,
money,
if your intent is to make money and then you write everything off and show a loss, you're still making money.
you're still making money, yeah.
But, yeah,
Me personally, being on city, I'd rather have a flight school out there, so we do have that option. So I'd like to take the pilot instruction off of there for the time being, since we don't really have any flight in the game right now, as to go with other airports. And then I think that resolves a good portion of our issue. And then at the end of the day, it helps us out as a city to, you know, bring people in, hopefully, that want to do something out there. I mean, that's what I feel fair. I don't know if that's how y'all feel about it on that part. We've been on this discussion, so.
Yeah, well, last meeting and this meeting. Well, it's pretty important.
Well, I mean, it gave me some time to think about it, and after all the points that have been made about it, I mean, to me, that's fair to go with right now. And if we see a need and it's just progressing, then, I mean, at that point, I mean, we have to figure something out at that point, but.
I mean, yeah, I mean, we can remove it and then later on, depending on how if that's what the board suggests. Excuse me here. And then later on, if we need to revisit it in a year from now because everything's taken over, we can add or subtract from this list. This list isn't permanent. You know, it's forever changing, you know, with the times or whatever, you know.
Where we see that possibly needs to be changed.
Yes.
is everybody good with that? Or no?
So just removing right in the paragraph B, removing pilot instruction permit and in the check marking thing, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
To play,
There was that,
yeah. So what if ATP comes over here next year and builds a hangar? I don't know if that's possible.
It could be.
It's very possible.
Because we have EDC land next to the airport and there can be
no, it's very possible.
future through defense
Kind of
agreements
the point with all of
created.
this.
Right, so, I mean, that's gonna be,
That's gonna be a discussion when that happens.
because this would be no question that they're coming over here to try to,
Mhm.
commercial activity.
Correct.
I mean, to me, at that point.
But they're not gonna be renting the city's hangars either.
Correct.
No, they very well may be, actually, they won't be.
Well, if they build big, yeah.
So they will not own their own hangar. That will not happen. The city has made that very, very, very clear.
Or, yeah, the land.
Well, they'll have a land lease to build the hangars.
Correct, yeah.
Which is different, yes.
I think they just approved it where they just upped it from 40 to 50 years is the max lease that you can sign now.
So on the lease, where are we at on this?
Agree that we can revisit this at another time, so it's not a,
For adding or subtracting what we consider commercial.
right, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's,
So we're good with removing pilot instruction, leaving everything else as is?
I think sightseeing is kind of a silly thing to do myself, but.
I mean, you get somebody out there.
Unless you're charging for it. You know, if you're out there
Yeah.
charging to make money on sightseeing, is one thing. But you're just out sightseeing, obviously.
You have your plane just to pick somebody up, take them over.
Yeah, that's not commercial.
That is a pretty good business over there.
Really?
Yes.
Getting rid of,
getting rid of the 24 cases and just making it, you may store oil in there, and then getting rid of pilot instruction.
Okay, so I have a motion by Julius to accept the hangar lease with the modifications of removing the pilot instruction and removing the maximum amount of oil stored in a hangar. Do I have a second? I have a second, is that Greg?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. So I have a second by Greg. Any more discussion on this? All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Number 8, revised airport master fee.
So so this is the complete airport master fee. So what you're seeing, like we agreed, we're not gonna raise the rates of non-commercial. We're not raising the rates of the hangars. So the fees that you see here are the current fees, but this is what it'll look like, posted online completely. So you'll see on there, what we did add was the hangar commercial rate at 35 cents per square foot.
I have a motion on,
And so instead of listing every possibility of hangars or future hangars that'll be built and their square footage in here, it was just easier just to have one line. This is what we charge for commercial. We charge by the square foot and we charge 35 cents.
so real simple, the master fee is gonna be the same. We chose already not to go up on rent, regular rent. So it's staying the same, and the only difference is 35 cents for commercial tenants. So really, that's what we're accepting.
And where did the 35 cents come from?
I called around to 25 different airports and just kind of took a basically summary and pinpointed 35. So, I mean, it's open for, this is just what we initially came up with.
We had some that were a lot higher, some that were a lot lower,
Yeah.
and that's just kind of what they came up with.
$35 cents a square foot is cheap compared to this commercial building, I'll tell you that.
If approved, when does this start?
October, we're shooting for October 1st, I think.
Yes, so with the rate being approved, it'll be up to council, but we can recommend that fee start October 1st. But with that fee approved, it allows us to move forward to start working on negotiations and contracts with defense agreements. If that makes sense how it works.
Not really, yeah. That doesn't really have anything to do with
You're saying you could do it right away?
We can start the
Once we have
negotiations.
a fee.
When the fees won't start until October.
No. Dickie can start his negotiations right away. Even though the fees won't be effective until October 1st, because they're published.
Oh, yes.
So if they're published at, say, 35 cents a square foot, you approach somebody for a through the fence transaction, what's that gonna equate to them in dollars?
Well, it depends on the negotiation between the lawyers. That's something that we won't see.
And the square footage.
Yeah,
The square footage of what?
of that building.
So, well, I'm just gonna use John as for example. They're gonna apply 35 cents a square foot to his
So it would not,
his hangar
Now,
it wouldn't start off that way.
as a through the fence transaction?
It's
Yes.
all part of that negotiations and everything else.
Yeah, I mean, it could be higher, it could be lower. It depends on the negotiations, the term of the contract, whether it's 5 months or 40 years, depending on what the rate is, that we establish with them. That's all negotiating.
but I don't really think the board has anything to do with,
No.
this has really nothing to do with us folks. Sorry, but
Well, I'm asking you if I wish I would shoot somebody in the foot. is what I'm-
Anything that does get approved here is not, so for example, if it was 35 cents, October 1st, whatever business is there is not gonna start paying 35 cents right out the gate. We have been instructed that we must stair step it over, it's a 3-year process. So it's slowly going up, or depending on what they negotiate.
But again, that has nothing to do with us and our hangers.
So couldn't we just say 10% of what the regular rates are at, or something like that? 20%? Have to be a square footage number?
So square footage is what everybody that I've been talking with and everything, that's what they base it off of, a square foot rate. And it makes it's easier to adjust either up or down, and, during the negotiation as well. And so that's what we've decided that we want to go with, is a square foot rate. Now, the amount,
But only thing we're doing here though, I keep stressing this, and we're getting way off track. The only thing on our master fee schedule that we're doing is for our hangers. There's nothing in here written about booth fence agreements, there's nothing in here written about any of that. That should have never even been brought up in this conversation, because that has nothing to do with us. Everybody understand that?
got it.
It has nothing to do with us. This fee that we are looking at on the commercial rate has nothing to do with through the fence agreements, has nothing to do with any of that with us. All this is the rate as you see in your packet for hangers. I don't believe, in my opinion, that nothing against Johnny, I like Johnny, I get along great with Johnny, but I don't think that we should have anything to do with this negotiation on his through the fence access. Period. Exactly, so I think we ought to get off that topic and get back on our master fee schedule.
Well, I have 25 cents a square foot.
So they came in with 35, they have to do the agreement, so 25 over there. That's what I said. Can be negotiated, but even if we approve it, it goes to council, everything.
Sure.
Julius, what are you thinking? What are you looking
I mean, anything commercial is gonna be quite a business where no matter what, you get 90% of your commercial rental anywhere is gonna be by the square foot, it's not gonna be a set rate. So, I mean, that square foot could change from the year you sign your contract to the next year, depending on what the owner of that property decides to charge you that. So, I mean, you're running a business out of it, and say, what's a small hanger? Say that's 1692 square foot, times what, 35 cents, $592. If you're running a commercial business and that's your profit, and you can't take a $200 increase on your hangers, and I don't know why we should go down on that.
Well, from what I heard from these guys, we have to come up with something.
You gotta come up with something.
Publish commercial rate there. So,
for the hangers?
Yeah.
Just for the hangers.
that's what I'm saying.
Yes. But I just want to make sure that's clear. For the hangers, we are not making a decision on any street defense agreement at all. That has nothing to do with us.
For me, I don't have, I think it sounds fair to me from what I know.
So we just need a motion for 35 cents, correct? I make a motion, we approve 35 cents for the commercial hangers.
Second.
A motion by Lowry to approve the 35 cents for the commercial hangers per square foot. It is just for the commercial hangers. And I have a second by Julius Buckley. Any other?
I just have one clarifying question. You said you called 25 airports, and this basically is an average,
Yes.
average of those 25. Okay.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? All in favor?
Nay.
Motion passes 5-1. Yeah, that is correct. Motion passes 5-1. Number 9, airport layout plan. Vicki?
Yes. Okay, so what this is this, I just wanted the airport board to be aware. This is the resolution that I got from TxDOT that I filled in with our numbers that I'll be submitting to City Council in July. With their approval, then it'll be forwarded to TxDOT and then they will immediately start work on it. This is for our airport layout plan, which we're required to have. You'll see on page 2 the list of everything that it'll complete. Now through grants that the IIJA, we're going to get a 90-10, so the $300,000 is going to come from a grant, and we're only going to have to pay them $30,000. So we already had $80,000 budgeted towards something like this, and couldn't find out we only got to pay $30,000. So this is a really good deal, really good thing.
So this will go to the city council, from city council to TxDOT.
Yes.
So what's the timeline we're looking
I don't know, probably because what KSA say it's about a 1-year process, I think. Because once
Next time.
yeah.
at? I want a better answer.
Not yet.
Okay.
And they will administer, they do the RFP process. We will have to have, committee to review of all those. And then we'll have to have a committee to work with them for the process and have meetings and so forth. But TxDOT, they're paying for it, they're administering it, they oversee it, and so you're on a TxDOT timeline. It's supposed to be done within a year.
Awesome. So basically, we won't be choosing any of the contractors or anything, we'll all be in TxDOT.
No, we will have a recommendation. We'll be gonna make a recommendation.
And that'll be, it could be the people that are sitting right here, or it could be people that you recommend who are at the airport. But they'll be interviewing council, they'll be interviewing the airport board, they'll be interviewing, they'll be doing public meetings, to get the public's input as well.
Hopefully, the airport board will have some input on the
Oh, they will.
RFPs.
Definitely.
No, we will,
And
sure.
people that, the hangars, people that rent the hangars, we want to make sure they're involved as well. We need to have input.
Anything else on the airport layout plan? Have a motion for an adjournment?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Says everybody wants to stay.
I second.
A motion by Julius, second by Eddie. All in favor?
Huh?
Did they approve the resolution
Oh, we gotta approve it? I thought it was.
as a recommendation?
I don't think we can approve it,
I think it's just,
No.
it was just for their knowledge, that they know what's going on,
Yeah, no, that's not an approval. We are adjourned.